The sun was just rising over the horizon, painting the fields in warm gold and deep orange. A layer of mist floated gently above the dew-covered grass as two ranchers, Joe and Travis, drove their old pickup truck through the remote outskirts of Nevada. They were searching for signs of a mustang herd that had been spotted limping near the canyon a few days back. Joe, a quiet man in his late 40s with years of sun-worn skin and a heart for wild animals, pointed toward a cluster of mesquite shrubs. "There, you see that movement?" Travis squinted. "Yeah, looks like a stallion, and he's not moving right." They cut the engine and stepped out, boots crunching against gravel. As they approached slowly, arms open and voices calm, the Mustang turned its head toward them. He was magnificent, strong build, wild black mane, but his body was trembling. He didn't run. He couldn't. Joe whispered, "He's hurt. Bad." Then they noticed it. Underneath the Mustang, partially hidden in the tall brush, was something else, movement. Joe knelt slowly, eyes wide. "Travis, there's something under him." Travis stepped closer, carefully navigating around the horse's powerful but trembling legs. And then they saw it. Their hearts stopped. "Oh my God, it's a foal," Travis said in a hushed voice. "He's shielding it." The Mustang wasn't just injured. He was standing guard, desperately protecting his baby, who was barely moving and covered in dirt and flies. The father's body bore fresh cuts, likely from predators or possibly a fall. But he hadn't left. He stayed to shield his child from danger, from heat, from death. Joe's voice cracked. "He's been here like this for days, maybe more." The foal let out a faint, broken whinny. Joe's chest tightened. He'd seen suffering before, but never this kind of silent devotion. They knew they had to act fast. But one wrong move, and the stallion could hurt himself, or them. Joe slowly extended his hand. "Hey, buddy, we're here to help. You're not alone." Travis, meanwhile, radioed their friend Lisa, a wildlife vet who lived 2 towns over. "We need you now. We found a wild stallion and a foal, both injured. It's serious." Back near the horse, Joe knelt in the dirt. The stallion's eyes locked on his. There was pain in them, but also trust. It was as if he understood they were there to help, that he could finally let go. Slowly, with a shudder, the great horse eased himself to the side and collapsed next to the foal, revealing the full extent of the little one's injuries. Joe gasped. "He's got a broken leg. Swollen bad. Dehydrated. We need to splint him now." Lisa arrived 20 minutes later, skidding her Jeep across the field. Her face went pale at the sight. Without a word, she got to work. Travis helped gather supplies from the truck, bandages, fluids, a makeshift stretcher. Joe stayed by the stallion's side, stroking his neck, whispering calm. The sun climbed higher as they worked, sweat dripping from brows, hearts pounding. Every touch, every lift, every movement was a test of trust between man and beast. When they finally splinted the foal's leg and laid him gently on the stretcher, the stallion tried to rise. Joe pressed his hand against his flank. "Easy now. He's safe. We've got him. You did good. You did everything a father could." And then it happened. The stallion nuzzled Joe's chest. It was brief, barely a second, but it was real. A thank you. As they lifted the foal into the back of the Jeep, the stallion attempted to follow. His steps were slow, painful, but he would not be separated. Lisa looked at the others. "He's not leaving that baby. We'll have to take them both." Travis grinned. "Fine by me." They laid blankets in the truck bed and carefully helped the stallion in. As the vehicle began moving, the foal weakly opened his eyes and gave a tiny nudge against his father's side. Joe wiped away a tear. None of them spoke for a while, because sometimes love doesn't need words. It just needs a chance. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't yet see, was what that stallion had endured to protect his baby, and the scars hidden beneath his mane. That discovery was still coming. The drive to the animal sanctuary was slow, cautious. Lisa navigated the dirt road with both hands gripping the wheel, careful not to jolt the fragile lives in the back. The foal's leg was splinted tightly, but he still whimpered at every bump. The stallion lay curled protectively around him, breathing shallow, sweat matting his coat. His eyes remained half-lidded, not from fear, but from pure exhaustion. Joe sat beside them, one hand resting on the stallion's shoulder. "He's fading," he murmured. "We're almost there," Travis replied from the front. "Just hang on." When they finally pulled into the sanctuary's gate, the team was ready. Volunteers rushed forward with stretchers, vet techs with 4 drips and cooling fans. The sun was brutal now, but the urgency in everyone's steps overpowered the heat. Lisa gave orders quickly. Get the foal into stall 3. Prep x-rays. Bring cooling gel for the stallion, he's burning up. Joe didn't leave the Mustang's side. Even as the handlers approached, the stallion didn't flinch. He was too tired to fight, and something in him seemed to recognize that these people were not enemies. As they transferred the foal onto a padded gurney, a weak squeal escaped his throat. The stallion lifted his head in alarm. Joe whispered, "It's okay. He's still with us. We've got him." Inside the barn, clean straw lay ready. The foal was gently laid on his side, and 4 running fluids into his dehydrated body. X-rays confirmed a fractured leg, but no shattered bones. With proper care, he had a real chance. Lisa turned to Joe. "But the father, he's worse than I thought." Joe followed her to the next stall. The stallion stood now barely. His legs trembled, and a deep gash along his hind flank oozed with infection. Bruises lined his ribs. His breathing was fast and shallow. Lisa gently peeled back parts of his tangled mane. Her jaw tightened. Teeth marks. Coyotes. At least 3 bites. He fought them off, stood over his baby through the attack. Joe stared in disbelief. How did he survive? Lisa looked up, eyes glassy. Sheer will. Nothing else. They sedated him lightly to clean the wounds. Joe helped trim the dried blood and dirt from his coat. Every now and then, the stallion would twitch, whinny softly, but he never lashed out. It was as if he understood. As night fell over the sanctuary, the barn lights cast a warm glow on the stall. The foal rested quietly, for steady. The stallion lay in the straw, eyes open, chest rising and falling. Joe brought in a small blanket and laid it beside the foal. Then, as gently as possible, he opened the stall gate to the father's pen. To everyone's astonishment, the stallion stood, slowly limping forward. Joe moved back, giving space. The father stepped into the foal's stall and lay down beside him, nose touching his baby's ear. Lisa smiled. That bond, it's unbreakable. They named the foal Dusty, for the land he was born in. The stallion they called Stone, because nothing, not pain, hunger, nor wild predators, had moved him from his post. Day by day, the healing began. Travis visited often, bringing apples and carrots. Joe never missed a morning, brushing Stone's coat, whispering stories. Dusty slowly regained strength, beginning to nibble at hay and nuzzle the caretakers. But the true transformation was in Stone. Each day, his steps grew firmer, his wounds closed, and his gaze became less hollow. Yet he never wandered far from Dusty. Then, one morning, as the sun rose over the fields again, Joe came to check on them, and froze. Dusty was standing. Wobbly, leaning against the wall, but standing. Joe's heart leapt. Lisa, Travis, get over here. The team gathered, holding their breath. Stone stepped forward too, nose nudging his son gently, encouraging. Dusty took one shaky step forward, then another. The barn fell silent except for the soft crunch of hay under tiny hooves. Tears filled Joe's eyes. Lisa whispered, "He's walking. He's going to make it." Outside, the world was waking. Birds sang. Wind rustled the leaves. But inside that quiet barn, something stronger stirred, hope. But fate wasn't done yet. Lisa walked over with a file in her hand, a deep frown on her face. Joe noticed immediately. "What is it?" She hesitated. "I ran a scan on Stone's bloodstream. The infection was worse than we thought. He's not out of the woods. If it spreads again..." Joe's smile faded. Dusty had just taken his first steps. But now his father's life was hanging by a thread. They had saved the foal. But could they save the one who saved him? The next hours would decide everything. The air inside the sanctuary was tense. As Dusty took his first uncertain steps, hope had blossomed like sunlight breaking through a storm. But now that light flickered. Lisa's voice echoed in Joe's mind. If the infection spreads again, Stone, the stallion who had stood like a wall against death to protect his child, now lay curled in the straw. His head rested near Dusty's side, but his breathing had grown ragged again. The swelling in his hindquarters was returning, and the gleam in his eyes dimmed with every hour. Lisa entered with a portable 4-unit and antibiotics. "We'll fight it, but we need to start an aggressive treatment, now." Joe nodded. "Whatever it takes." The next 48 hours became a battle of time and will. Lisa and her team worked in rotating shifts. Travis even stayed overnight, brewing coffee and helping apply cold compresses. Stone barely moved, but his ears would twitch whenever Dusty stirred. It was clear. Even in suffering, he was still watching over his son. Dusty, meanwhile, gained strength. He walked a bit more each day, always circling back to nuzzle his father, as if reminding him, I still need you. Joe talked to Stone often. You've already done the impossible. But don't stop now. He's walking, because of you. He needs more than our hands. He needs your heart. That night, with stars casting a soft glow through the open stable windows, something changed. Stone lifted his head. Slowly, deliberately, he rose to his feet. He swayed, weak and trembling, but didn't fall. Dusty looked up from his straw bed and let out a quiet bleat. Stone responded with a soft, raspy nicker. And then he stepped forward. Just one step, but it sent ripples through the room. Lisa gasped. That wasn't supposed to happen. Not yet. Stone took another shaky step. And another. Joe watched in awe, tears stinging his eyes. He's not giving up. By morning, the fever had broken. The next week was filled with slow, steady recovery. Stone began eating again. His wounds closed. He walked side by side with Dusty through a small fenced paddock behind the barn. Volunteers whispered in wonder every time they passed. That's the father who stood over his foal. Didn't move for days. Then came the day they all hoped for, but weren't sure would come. Lisa gathered the team at sunrise. Dusty's fracture has healed better than expected. He still limps a little, but he's strong now. Stone's vitals are stable. He's ready too. Joe asked the question on everyone's mind. You mean it's time? Lisa smiled. It's time. They opened the gate to the large freedom pasture for the first time. The grass swayed gently in the early breeze. Beyond the fence lay rolling hills and a distant glimmer of a stream. It was open land, safe land. Stone hesitated, eyes scanning the horizon. Dusty stood beside him, ears forward, full of wonder. And then, Stone galloped. Not at full strength, but with enough grace to stir everyone's heart. Dusty bounded after him, awkward but joyful. They ran side by side, father and son, into the wide green. Joe stood by the gate, hat held to his chest. You did it, old man. You got him there. Lisa wiped away a tear. No, they got each other there. The story of Stone and Dusty spread beyond the sanctuary. Photos of the stallion shielding his foal, their healing journey, and their final run to freedom went viral. People from all over the country sent letters, donations, and offers to adopt. But Joe and Lisa agreed on one thing. They're never to be separated, Lisa said. No matter what. So they stayed. Their own paddock. Their own slice of land. And every morning, as the sun rose, the pair would be seen trotting together along the fence line. Dusty growing stronger, and Stone proud, alert, healed. They were a living reminder of something we so often forget. That love, true love, protects. Fights. Endures. Even when it hurts. Even when it seems impossible. And sometimes, just sometimes, it heals.